Are we ready? Sorry. Good evening. Bonsoir. Welcome to this regular council meeting. Tonight, Mayor Masala and Councillor Masson are unable to attend due to personal reasons. And I was called to the chair as pro-mayor for the time being. You will see another one appointed later on the agenda. In addition to Councillor Elizabeth Yulin and Colleen Finney, I'm joined in this virtual meeting by Director General Rafael Vistasio, Town Clerk Claude Gilbert, and Communications Officer Manon Choc. Cette séance du conseil fut tenue à huis clos et les membres du conseil et assistants de manière virtuelle, conformément à l'arrêt ministériel numéro 2020-074 du 2 octobre 2020 du ministère de la Santé et des Services sociaux. Maintenant, je propose d'ouvrir la séance. Est-ce qu'il y a quelqu'un qui peut seconder?
Oui, je le puis.
Merci, Councillor Yulin. Tout en faveur?
Oui.
Merci. Accueil de visiteurs, il n'y a aucun sujet ne fut traité sous ce point. Adoption de l'ordre du jour. Je propose d'adopter l'ordre du jour de la séance ordinaire du 28 juin 2021 tel que présente. Est-ce qu'il y a quelqu'un qui peut le seconder?
Oui, je le seconde.
Merci, Councillor Finney. Tout en faveur?
Oui. Oui.
Excellent. Approbation des procès-verbaux. Just to give you a summary of the three meetings quoted here, May 31st was the regular meeting. June 3rd, it was council awarded 3 contracts related to the infrastructure project on Fenwick. And June 10th, a contract was awarded for sidewalk repairs. An agreement on municipal works for the Eastern project was approved. And amendment to the contract management by law was adopted. And 12 SPAIP files were processed. Est-ce que j'ai quelqu'un qui peut proposer la prochaine résolution?
Oui, Madame Promer. Je propose d'approuver les procès-verbaux des séances du Conseil tenues aux dates suivantes. Séance ordinaire le 31 mai 2021. Séance spéciale du 3 juin 2021. Séance spéciale du 10 juin 2021.
Merci, Councillor Yulin. Est-ce que j'ai quelqu'un qui peut seconder cette proposition?
Oui, je l'appuie.
Merci, Councillor Finney. Correspondance, on a aucune...
le vote, Madame.
Je m'excuse. Tout en faveur?
Oui.
Merci. Correspondence, there is nothing under this item. Now we're going to move to the report of the mayor. The mayor's report on the financial position of the town. In accordance with section 105.2.2 of the Cities and Towns Act, Pro-Mayor Maria Torres, on behalf of Mayor Masala, tabled a report on the highlights of the financial report and of the external auditor's report. It is the same report that was presented by Councillor Finney in a previous regular meeting. Now, for the next point, we'll have someone to... Est-ce qu'il y a quelqu'un qui veut le proposer?
Oui, oui, Madame Promer. Considérant que l'article 105.2.2 de la loi sur les cités et villes prévoit que le rapport du maire sur la position financière de la ville doit être diffusé sur le territoire de la municipalité conformément aux modalités de diffusion déterminées par le conseil. En conséquence, je propose que le rapport du maire sur la position financière de la ville soit publié dans The Informer en ligne ainsi que sur le site Internet de la ville.
Merci, Councillor Finney. Est-ce que j'ai quelqu'un qui peut le seconder?
Oui, je le puis.
Merci, Councillor Ewing. Regular monthly
Oui,
report.
vote, madame.
Tout en faveur?
Tout en favor?
Oui.
I like to apologize for my inexperience. I'm trying to imitate Benny, but it's quite difficult. So anyhow, be patient, and thank you so much for two of you reminded me. Now we're going to move to councillors' reports. We're going to start with seat number 3, which is Councillor Colleen Finney is going to report on matters pertaining to urban planning, finance, administration, and human resources.
Thank you, Madam Pro-Mayor, and good evening, everyone. Bonsoir. I'll start off with the finance administration, just to let you know that the town offices will be closed on July 1st. Secondly, a reminder, since we are not meeting formally at the end of July, a reminder that the second installment of your property tax is due August the 27th. Also, the pension committee met in June to review and approve the draft financial statements as prepared by the external auditor, Raymond Chabot Grant Thornton. And the final approval will go to the annual general meeting in September. And also that the Récit Québec 2020 compensation report has been approved by the government. On to business to be conducted at tonight's meeting. You will see later in the meeting that council will be passing a resolution permitting those aged 70 and over, and also those who, for various reasons, are either limited to their house, they must be forced to stay at home, or health reasons can otherwise not go out to vote, that we will allow these people to cast a vote by mail in the upcoming November the 7th municipal election, if they so choose. More details will be provided on the process as the dates draw near, but council did think that this was a good way to go right now because, of course, we are in a pandemic, and more people voting by mail will mean less people there present in person. So we think that that would be advantageous to all. So you will see that coming up later in the meeting. Also later in the meeting, you'll see disbursements that are going to be passed. And the disbursements this past month are very substantial. They amount to $3,356,549. And I always like to let taxpayers know where their money is going. Well, this particular month, it's quite easy because over 90% of it is going directly to the AGLO in way of our quote-part for our regular, for the shared services and also for the water. So that's totaled over $3 million going to the AGLO. After that, the main expenditures were, as usual, deductions at source and also utilities, etc., and benefits. That amounted to $137,000. And public works, total expenditures there are a little over $120,000. The largest expenditures there, again, were garbage, recycling, and compost, amounting to over $34,000. There was a very big expenditure for asphalt and other building materials, but mainly asphalt. This past month, it amounted to almost $17,000. We were still paying for one last snow removal bill of over $10,000 and contract work of over $17,000, which related mainly to electrical work and some water breaks that we had to take care of. So those were the main expenditures in this past month. If I move on now to urban planning, 51 permits were issued in June for various projects, mainly home renovations. And due to the high number of permits being issued, I want to request and thank residents for being patient. There's a lot of work that the Urban Planning Department and also that the Planning Advisory Committee is doing. They're working hard to move things forward as quickly as possible, but there is a really, really high demand now. So I thank you for your understanding. The next meeting of PAC will be July the 7th, and the submissions for that were due June 23rd. After that, the meetings are August the 4th with submissions due July 21st and August the 25th with submissions due August the 11th. We have hired a summer intern to help assist with our inspections and with the finalizations of the permit files. So that's good news to all. It should be noted for those of you who are applying for a permit that since the offices are closed, this must be done online, and it's all explained on our website under urban planning. On to the seniors committee right now. As we have now entered into the green zone as relates to the pandemic, the seniors outreach program will come to an end. All the volunteers will be called and will be thanked for their efforts, and the town will continue to offer services to seniors still requiring some support. So I wanted to reiterate my support and thanks for the many volunteers who for over a year have been calling our seniors and picking up groceries for our seniors for an extended period of time. Your kindness made a very big difference in people's lives, and also it made our community an even more caring one than it is. So un grand merci à tous. Also on the seniors file, we've asked the SPVM, the police department, to do a presentation in English or a bilingual presentation to respond to various questions from seniors regarding driving and to review the requirements and laws related to the SAAQ requirements for seniors driving. So this arrangement has been done, and there will be an online webinar on July the 13th at 10 a.m. And it's called Au volant de ma santé. And we will be able to take registration online on Amelia, probably starting by the end of this week. We'll let you know more about that. We did have a meeting with the Seniors Advisory Committee this past month, and we dealt with the priorities for this year. And also, we will be meeting again in a few weeks to continue determining priorities for the upcoming year and to prioritize our projects. That's just about it for me, except I hope everybody is staying healthy. I hope you are enjoying the terraces on Westminster. I encourage you to support our businesses. And I thank everyone to please enjoy this nice warm summer. And thank you all for getting vaccinated. We seem to have a high number of residents vaccinated, and we are coming through. There is an end. There is a light at the end of this tunnel. Enjoy the summer. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me at this meeting or to email me. Thank you very much. Merci.
Thank you, Councillor Feeney. Next is seat number 4, Councillor Maria Torres reporting on matters pertaining to the environment, public works, and buildings. My report is very short. So I'm going to start with public works. Public works planted 50 trees this month. I would like to congratulate the Public Works Department for doing this fantastic job. It is possible to plant 50 trees in a season. We're expecting to plant another 50 in the fall. It is quite a difficult task because there is a lot of research to be done, selecting the proper spots, selecting the right trees, and then of course the communication with all the residents. Normally we send a letter, but there's always a back and forth for a while. So it does require a lot of communication. But at the end, we did it, and I'm very happy. I also want to thank Councillor Elizabeth Hewling, who helped me in this process. Another pilot project involving trees was initiated on Westminster in the commercial area, where 5 trees in pots were installed as part of the Westminster beautification project. We would like to have planted trees on the ground. However, because of a lot of the infrastructure, we don't know what is out underneath or what's the condition, we were not able to do it. So we thought this was a fantastic idea as a replacement. So hopefully they will grow and add some beauty to the town. The Avon resurfacing project this month was a huge success. It was painful where it lasted. However, in collaboration with the contractor, the schedule for the project was crashed, and the project duration was reduced by more than 50%, which greatly reduced inconveniences on the project's location to town residents. So congratulations to the construction company and to Public Works who managed this success. During July and August, Public Works will continue the necessary road work. We have been, as you have seen, a lot of filling up a lot of potholes and sidewalks, and we will continue. as well as town park maintenance, regular street sweeping, etc. Now, moving to the Environmental Action Committee. This month, the committee was quite busy helping or collaborating with Elizabeth Valentine's School, where they planted 3 pollinators garden. This is going to be used as an educational tool for the children at school. So I'd like to thank Laura Cusino, who's part of our committee, and she was instrumental in organizing all this. We also had a fantastic volunteer, Joanna Dewey. She did a lot of the legwork. And Ryan Oxley, who works with Elizabeth Valentine, and of course, all the volunteers from there. Also, the Canadian Wildlife Federation donated a lot of the plants that we planted there. That's it for me tonight, except later on, of course, we're gonna, the mayor or the pro-mayor is gonna make a pledge for costs that the Environment Action Committee, it judges is very important. It has to do with the pollinators, but in this case, it's with the monarch butterflies. So please stay and well, pay attention. And if you have any further questions related to these projects that we're doing, you can also join us on our Facebook account. Is the Montreal-Ouest Environmental Action Committee on Facebook, and you can see what we post, and you can always ask us questions. Thank you so much, and I will be very happy to answer your questions in the second question period. And stay cool, it's very hot. Bye-bye, thank you. Now, moving on to seat number 1, that would be Councillor Dina Massoni, but in his absence, there is no report on matters pertaining to public security and to special projects fundraising. So we'll move to seat number 2. Councillor Elizabeth Hewlin will report on matters pertaining to communication, recreation, and culture.
Thank you very much, Madame Pro-Mayor. So we'll start with the community center. The community center summer children's programs began today, and they're currently full. And fitness programs have been moved outdoors, which of course is a welcome transition for the participants. Along with some virtual activities this month, the seniors finally had an in-person meet and greet in groups of 8, and they were thrilled to finally get together again. In special events this month, family teams participated in our first Mo West murder mystery event. And on June 23rd, we celebrated La Fête Nationale with pop-up entertainment and contests. Coming up will be Canada Day celebrations, which will begin with the annual town chase, pop-up entertainment in our parks, 2 free live concerts with Aquaphonie and the Buffalo Hat Singers, an Indigenous musical group, contests, and more. You can find the full schedule on the website now, and you can register for the town chase and the live concert tickets on Amelia. On Monday, July 5th, there'll be a performance of by Pirogue, which you can get free tickets for also online. And on Saturday, July 17th, the duathlon will take place, which is a family run, swim, run event, which you can sign up for on the web. And in between, we have pop-up entertainment plans, so you'll have to keep an eye out for that. As of today, the pool has begun a host of programs, including modified non-competitive swim team, lessons, diving, life-saving, and aquafit. And you can register for time slots just for a free swim and any programs via our registration platform. If you're unable to use any of your previously reserved spots, though, we ask you to please email the pool as soon as possible to make that slot available for other residents. And the updated pool schedule is online now. Camp season also began today, as well as, after taking a 1-year sabbatical. Currently, registration is full for the season, but it's possible that some spots will open up due to cancellation. So if you'd like to put your name on the waiting list, you certainly can do that. Switching now to the communications file. The department's been working largely on matters related to the ever-changing COVID directives, summer activities, infrastructure work, and a fundraising campaign for the Sports and Recreation Center. And finally, I think before I finish my report, I'd like to say a few words about Canada Day. given the recent discovery of hundreds of Aboriginal children's unmarked graves that have been found at 2 former residential schools. Most certainly only the tip of the iceberg, unfortunately. Here in Montreal-West, we haven't canceled Canada Day celebrations as some municipalities have. We believe it's important to honor this day. But it's also more important than ever at this moment in time to make it a time of reflection about all that Canada is and has been. I, for one, can say that I've been profoundly ignorant of the relentless plight of our Aboriginal Aboriginal countrymen and women. I have to do better. I hope you'll join me in seeing to it that the reconciliation part of truth and reconciliation is realized so that Canada and Canada Day will be something that we can all be proud of and celebrate together in the years to come. That's it for my report. And certainly if you have any questions for me about anything in the report or to do with council matters, you can ask that by email or at the end of this council meeting in the second question period. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Councillor Hewlin. Now we're going to move on to the first question period. Given the circumstances, residents have been invited to submit in advance their questions concerning matters of general interest to the mayor and councillors. At this point, I'd like to point out that since Councillor Massoni is not here to answer the questions on matters pertaining to public security and special projects, we are going to try to answer some of the questions, but most of them are going to be sent to him. We will forward him for him, and he will answer you in return. I'll point it out when we get there, but just to let you know that we have taken note of all your questions, and they will be addressed by him. He will send you an email, and we'll make sure that to follow up with him. So if we can start with the first one, I believe is Councillor Feeney's question.
Okay. Thank you very much, Madame Pro-Maire. La première question vient de Reda Baklouti de 302 Avenue Westminster Nord. La question est: bonjour, j'ai un vieux cerisier dans ma cour et il y a une branche qui risque de tomber sur ma place de stationnement. Comment est-ce que je peux avoir de l'aide, si c'est sécuritaire de la garder ou non? Merci. Et merci pour votre question, Reda. Deux choses. Si votre arbre se trouve dans l'emprise municipale, située devant votre propriété, vous pouvez transmettre une demande via le formulaire en ligne accessible sur notre site Internet ou en appelant le service de travaux publics. S'il n'est pas sécuritaire, nous prendrons des mesures pour corriger la situation rapidement. Mais si l'arbre en question vous appartient et se trouve sur votre propre propriété, alors nous vous suggérons de contacter un arboriculteur certifié afin d'obtenir un avis sur la meilleure façon de prendre soin de l'arbre. S'il est recommandé que l'arbre soit coupé, vous devez alors obtenir un permis via notre service d'urbanisme. Le permis est gratuit et les procédures sont décrites sur le site web de la ville. Merci pour votre question.
Merci, Councillor Feeney, et merci, Reda Baklouti, pour votre question. Le suivant, c'est une question de Nick Giannis. Councillor Hewlin?
Certainly, yes. So Nick Giannis, 84 Percival. He has two questions. The first one is, I'll answer. Should citizens email the mayor or councillors directly when they have questions or concerns? This is not meant as a criticism. It is meant to clarify the appropriate forms of communication. So thanks for your question, Nick. What I would say to that is, if you have a question or concern that deals with a department, something happening in a department, the first thing I would say is you should contact that department directly via the website. If that is not resolved to your satisfaction, or you have a different kind of question that really should go to a councillor or the mayor, you absolutely should go on the website and contact us through the emails listed there. So yes, we can be contacted directly with your concerns. And I would think the easiest way for you to do that is the links through the website. Thank you very much for your question, Nick.
Thank you, Councillor Yulin. And Mr. Giannis has a second question, which I will attempt to answer. It's a public security related question. The protected left turn arrow from the 138 Northwest onto Saint-Jacques Southeast around the Petro-Canada station has been dramatically shortened recently. Only one large truck has time to turn or 3 cars. Was there any reason this was done? It's not uncommon to wait 2-3 cycles to make the left turn, which makes it a less attractive option, even though the turquoise work is now fully complete. Going through Ville Pier with the addition of yet another light is also less attractive. Overall, it's becoming harder and harder to enter the town from the highway. Thank you for your question, but unfortunately, or fortunately for us, this is an NDG. These lights are an NDG. It has nothing to do with Montreal-West. So I will pass it to Councillor Massoni to see if there is anything he can do, or talk to somebody else about it. But just to let you know that it is an issue with NDG, and it's not Montreal-West. There is nothing that we can do. However, Councillor Massoni will address your issue later on. Next, we have Bernie Nadler from 22 Fairfield Crescent. He asked, now that the bike path runs from the end of Brock South to the bike path along the Lachine Canal is completed, can Montreal-West create a bike path, safe lane, leading from the train tracks running down to Brock South, joining the new bike path? I'd had the unpleasant experience recently of facing head-on car traffic while driving down Brock South to join the path. The small section of Brock South has been a morning shortcut for many cars, cutting through Montreal-West from outside our neighborhood. There is an accident just waiting to happen. Once again, thank you so much, but this is a question for Councillor Massoni. I'm very sorry to hear that it is an issue, and we understand it is an issue, but he will be much better than to address this issue. So I will forward your question to him and ensure that he gets back to you. Next is Jody Mason from 64 Nelson.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So Jody's question is, children and adults alike are asked to not cycle on the sidewalks of Westminster because it's not safe for pedestrians. Between Curzon and Sherbrooke, it is similarly unsafe to cycle. Cars are parked less than 2 meters from the lane of traffic, and there is a significant risk of dooring. We have ample free parking space for the merchants on Westminster, Pharmaprix, 2 public lots on Milner, 1 public lot on Westminster, the mini lot. Why not increase the signage to direct shoppers to those spaces and reduce the street parking between Curzon and Sherbrooke to handicapped spaces? Okay, thank you very much for your question. I will answer part of it in that it's certainly the issue of bike riding on Westminster sidewalks has been brought up several times in the past. And in particular, we have addressed it as part of our MATA seniors group. And we have actually proposed a plan to public security to help alleviate that. And that plan involves the communication plan, more signage, and also an increased police presence. We hope to collaborate with public security soon to put that plan into action. I do, though, want to remind residents that riding bikes on the sidewalk is actually prohibited throughout the province and is subject to a hefty fine. I think it's $80 or $100. But if it is, and I do understand your point that it can be dangerous, especially for little ones to cycle along Westminster, you are permitted to walk your bike along Westminster on the sidewalks. You're just not permitted to cycle along the sidewalks. So that's my response to that. In terms of the recommendations or suggestions you have regarding parking, that is definitely a public security matter. So I will leave that to Councillor Mazzoni to answer that part of your question. So thank you very much, Jody, for your question. I hope this has been helpful.
Thank you, Councillor Feeney and Jody, for your question. Next is James Mullally from 112 Broughton Street. This is another question for Councillor Mazzoni. Why isn't the crosswalk on the north side of Westminster at Sherbrooke more prominently indicated in the standard ladder pattern? Southbound traffic invariably stops for pedestrians because there is a stop sign, but traffic northbound from Sherbrooke and Westminster often doesn't stop. As I said before, we are taking note of your question and we will be forwarding to Councillor Mazzoni, and he'll get back to you and answer your question. Thank you so much for your question, Mr. Maloney. Next is Emily Dolan from 333 Brock Avenue North. This is a question for me. When will the light bulbs in the new street lights be changed? They are a terrible blue-white color and extremely bright. We have a street light that shines into our master bedroom and is so blue and bright, even our blinds down illuminates our room. I consider it to be light pollution and really disturbs the quality of sleep, the quality of sleep we're getting. We had blinds made for the house when we moved in, but I do not feel that I should have to change them again for blackout blinds. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you, Emily. Just to let you know that we do agree with you. We have commissioned, or we had asked a company, we finally found a company who is in the process of doing a study of all the lights in Montreal-West and give us a suggestion as a better, healthier, more environmentally friendly and lights. We do not have those suggestions yet, and we have to wait for them. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Public Works, I'm going to forward this email to Public Works right away for them to look into your light, because you said it doesn't have a hat. And sometimes Public Works have done in some of these cases, they have either put a shield to shield the light going into your room and a hat. So I will ask them to look into it, and just waiting to see what the study of the street light analysis will bring up, okay? So thank you so much again, and I'll be in touch with you. I will follow up this issue. Next is Abby Shavitz of 138 Abby Valentine. He has a couple of questions for Councillor Yulin.
Yes, thanks very much. Abby, yes, Abby Shivitz, 138 Valentine North. So Abby asks, if the pool is closed next summer due to construction of the new sports facility, will the town consider making special arrangements so that residents may have access to Côte St. Luke's outdoor pool? Normally, Montreal-West residents benefit from special rates when registering for activities in Côte St. Luke, and I hope that something will be arranged so that our residents can buy into some form of pool membership. So I'll answer that one first, and then Abby has another question. And the answer to that would be, we certainly hope so, Abby. It's nothing I can guarantee, but we, as you say, we do have other arrangements with Côte St. Luke and also Hampstead for use of their facilities, and they have use of our facilities at certain rates. And we would, by all means, be pursuing those kinds of options for residents. It's premature, though, to guarantee anything, obviously, but we certainly want Montreal-Westers to continue to enjoy facilities while ours are being built. Abby's second question is, I was disappointed that the town did not organize a mobile parade of our mayor and council members as they did last year on July 1st. Why is that? Well, you needn't be disappointed, Abby, because we have in fact organized the same kind of, well, parade that we did last year, which is to say that we are going to be traveling around town from 2:45 to 6:30 p.m. So we can do a sort of mobile meet and greet with all the citizens and wishing them a happy Canada Day. We're also going to be stopping by in 3 of our parks, 1 in each section of the town. We've got cupcakes to give out and other things, so we're hoping to see you then. You can find, in fact, the schedule of the events online. And if you want to click on the calendar function on our website, you just click on July 1st and up will pop the different things that are happening on that day. So we can't give you specifics about where we're going to be and when, but we intend to visit the town just as we did last year and wish everyone a happy Canada Day. Thanks very much for your question, Abby.
Thank you, Councillor Yulin, and thank you, Abby, for your question. Next is Jennifer Melnick of 140 Valentine South. There is a rumor going around that the library will not be located in the new Eastern development as planned due to a fundraising shortfall. The library will be permanently located on Westminster where it is now, and the Eastern will house other private businesses. Is this information correct? What update can the council give about the library's location and the new development? The town worked with the library board to secure a spot in the new Eastern building for some time. However, the board thought it was for the best interest of the library to stay located where it is. I do know a lot of residents are happy, and I do think that the library is also quite happy there. However, I want to point out that the library is an autonomous institution, and the board and they make their decisions where to move or what are the reasons why they move or not move. So I think some of these questions we better direct them to them. They will be in better capacity to tell you why they stay in there and or not. But we did work with them, and this is their decision, not ours. Thank you so much and for the question, Jennifer. Moving on, Christian Fritchie of 106 Eastern Avenue. Would you please apply and enforce bylaw number 405, Article 63, playing on roadways? And he quotes, "No child shall be permitted to play on a roadway." End of quote. To tolerate this behavior during the pandemic, when kids who already enjoy their backyards and public parks has created a dangerous precedent for motorists, pedestrians, and residents living in the area of these improvised playgrounds. Every day we see examples of this dangerous behavior. Thank you. Hi, Christian. I hear what you have to say. We are taking notes, and but please, this is one of the cases that we're going to have to redirect this question as well to Dino Massoni, Councillor Massoni, for him to answer to you and to look into it. Okay, so I'm sorry I cannot give you an answer tonight, but we will forward the question for him. Next, we have Linda Hammersmith of 226 Valentine North. First question is, how many dogs are registered for tax licenses in the town for the current 2021 year? This year, by the end of April, we had 251 dog licenses. We have given out 251 dog licenses. Second question and third question has the same answer. Will garage sales be permitted this summer, fall? And third question is, are we allowed to have block parties this summer? If yes, are permits to close streets being issued? Thank you in advance for the answers, which I would also like to receive by email, as I am not feeling well today and must go to sleep early to be in court tomorrow. Well, thank you for your question again, Linda. And just to let you know that right now, neither garage sales or the block parties are allowed. However, we will be reevaluating this decision next council, which I believe we're meeting in 2 weeks. After that, we'll release a bulletin to inform all the residents in Montreal-Ouest of whatever we decided. We'll, in addition, send it to Councillor Massoni, and he will send it to you, the answers, and he will send you the answers. Sorry, I'm getting tired. I don't know how Benny does this, and he reads all the time, and my voice is beginning to go. Next question is from Judy Kennedy from 151 Strathern North. And this is also for me. Has the use of dryer sheets, which are carcinogenic and toxic, ever been prohibited for use in Montreal-West? Many are scented with heavy perfumes and oils, which are also toxic. They become a health hazard for many people. Many cities in the United States have banned these products. During humid times like our weather has been breathing problems for the elderly, are only enhanced by use of these chemicals? I'm sorry, I touched all this question. During humid times, like our weather has been breathing problems for the elderly, are only enhanced by use of these chemicals. Let's get some cleaner air in Montreal-West. Thank you. Thank you so much, Judy. You asked us that question some time ago, and I did do some research and did find out to corroborate with you, although not all these studies prove that this is 100%, since a lot of ingredients in these dryer sheets are approved by different governments. They do indicate that they are toxic. However, we cannot pass a resolution or make any rules concerning this, because these are products that are widely sold and manufactured everywhere. And there is no way for us as a town to regulate who's using it or not. What I do suggest is for the Environment Action Committee and the Environmental Department to put in on our list of information sessions that I want to do as to educate and bring awareness to the public in Montreal-West. Because I agree with you, we need to learn about these issues, and I think it's a very important point, but not as a regulation, as information for everybody else, yes. So I will work on it, and we'll let you know. Thank you so much for bringing this question. The next question is from Valmar Kurol, 63 Kirkley Drive, and is for Councillor Finney.
Thank you very much, Madame Pro-Mayor. So Mr. Kurol asks, could you please give us an update on the construction schedule, if known, of the new condo complex at the Westminster Avon former library site? When is groundbreaking scheduled to start? So thank you for your question, Valmar. The permit application is already underway. The developer has completed his efforts to obtain authorization to demolish the old building, and the permit will soon be issued, following which a start date for work will be confirmed and it will be communicated to the population. So should be coming up very soon. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Councillor Finney, and thank you, Valmar Kurol. Now it's Anne Pelucan, 106 Avenue Easton. Pourriez-vous réitérer les règlements de l'interdiction de laisser en place en permanence les paniers basket? Depuis ma demande du 15 juin dernier de faire inspecter ces règlements, nous avons eu des comportements d'intimidation à 2 reprises. Résidant depuis 20 ans dans Montréal-Ouest, nous n'avons jamais été témoins de tels comportements délinquants et agressifs. Merci, Anne. J'ai transmis votre demande au conseiller Massoni. Once again, I'm so sorry, Anne. He's not here to answer the question, but I will send it to him. I will forward it to him and make sure that he follows up. Thank you for your question, Anne. Following, we have Ray Van Dusen, 57 Valentine Avenue North. The first question is for Councillor Massoni. The second question is for Councillor Yuling. So I'll read the first one. Are there any bylaws regarding security cameras vis-a-vis impact on privacy of neighboring property? It doesn't seem to be addressed in the 1992 bylaw number 456 concerning nuisance, noise, and public security. Once again, this will be forwarded to Councillor Massoni. For the second question, Councillor Yuling will answer it.
Or actually, I think this one relates more to bylaws. So I can take this one.
Right.
Thank you, Maria.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
No problem. So the question number 2 from Mr. Van Dusen is, if property owners have questions or comments regarding town bylaws, who can we consult directly with? So I would suggest that you can contact the councillor in charge of that dossier and or fill in an online form via the website. Often I find contacting our employees, going through the website, the contact us form is often a lot better than even leaving messages on the telephone. So for instance, if it's a matter relating to urban planning, then use the contact us. a portion of the website and direct a question towards urban planning regarding a particular bylaw related to them. They are the most knowledgeable about the specifics of the bylaw or the public security department, as the case may be. However, really, you can always also contact a counselor, because if we don't know the exact answer, we will make sure that we do get it for you. So those are your options, I think. Just go to the department via the website or contact a counselor, or both. Hope that answers your question. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Finney, and thank you, Ray Van Dusen. Next question is from Debbie Josephson, 146 Eastern Avenue, and also for Councillor Finney.
Okay, thank you, Debbie. Your question, hello. Each year I'm submitting my tax payment using the online bank service. Is there any way we can receive either a receipt or notification by email that the payment has actually been received by the town? Many thanks. Have a good evening. Okay, Debbie, we do not normally send out receipt of payment notifications. Your bank statement does provide you with that. If you haven't paid your tax installments out on time, we do, however, send you a bill indicating the outstanding amount. But if for some reason you would like a specific a receipt for this, please feel free to, you can always call and ask specifically for a receipt. So it's not generally done, but if you would like, you can call and ask for one. Hope that answers your question, Debbie. Thanks for your question.
Thank you, Councillor Finney, and thank you, Debbie, for your question. Next is Stephen Walsh, 35 Fenwick Avenue. What is the status? He has two questions. First one is, what is the status of the proposal to not use Triangle Park as a construction storage site for July 2021 to October 2021? Given that over 100 people have signed the petition and the park is used every day by citizens. So let me answer that question before I move to the second one. Steve, I think I answered, as indicated in an email I sent you. We gave your request, we passed it to Public Works for them to see if there is any way that they can find a different solution. And we'll have an answer by tomorrow, at which point we will communicate it to you. I'm sorry we don't have it yet. We always knew it was going to be for tomorrow. So well for it, and the answer is coming. The second question is, what are the regulations or norms for city contractors regarding damage to trees during construction projects on town property? One of the contractual, just to answer the question, one of the contractual obligations for the contractor is to protect the trees during construction. One of the things that they do, and you will see how they do it, they wrap the trunk of the tree with wood slats. The trunk is one of the most sensitive part of the tree, and we don't want it to be damaged. The other thing that they do is that they do have a procedure when, if they have to excavate too close to any of the trees, the way that they cut the roots, just to minimize the damage to the trees. But we do have a contractual obligation with them to take care of the trees. And to tell you, I've been councillor for 8 years now, and we've done many streets, and we have not ever lost a tree during one of the constructions. We are very careful, and we do ask them to be careful with the trees as well. So thank you for both of your questions, Stephen, and talk to you soon. I know you're going to have more questions, so I'll be happy to address them. Next, we have Rachel Ritchie, 224 Westminster North. This is also for Councillor Massoni. Can our town implicate zone parking for the residential part on Westminster? We buy our parking passes. However, guests leave their cars from Friday morning till Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. There is such an increase in traffic that residents cannot find spots in front of their homes anymore. It's creating a very tense environment with fellow neighbors. Can you help us? Once again, I will forward your email, your request to Councillor Massoni. Next question, Ian McBecken, 78 Percival. Are there plans to repair the Percival parking lot? The asphalt surface is in very bad condition and water accumulates in ever deepening and growing small lakes. Thanks. Yes, I agree with you. I think we all agree it's in really bad shape. However, in 2019, we had ordered a study done. It is a very extensive project and it's very costly because it's not only about resurfacing the asphalt. It deals with lights. We have to deal with foundation, with water pipes underneath, and other stuff. So we were not able to put it in our priority list for our 2020 to 2022 triennial plan, 3-year plan. So we will look into it again in 2022 to see what we can do. We are aware, however, as I said, with so many other things that town needs so urgently done, it was not part of our 3-year plan. But we will look into it again next year. Thank you for your question. Next, Lori Cox, also from 35 Fenwick. 2 questions. What happens to my box wood in front of my house? How will I assure that they will be replaced if the town damages them when the construction takes place in Fenwick? Thank you. Lori, as you know, we had someone who's hired by the town, and he went photographing and filming all the houses and all the areas that the construction are going to be affected by the construction. That includes everybody on Fenwick and some of them on Eastern. Yeah, and the reason is because at the end of the project, we compare those photographs with the work that the construction company is doing, and we demand that it is placed as it was before the construction. So that will ensure that it is. We don't pay the construction company the full amount till they are finished with their job, and that is the last part of the job, to replace everything as it was before. Your second question is, Royal West has put out junk garbage in the front of the soccer field on Ainsley. Can they be asked not to do this? It has been there for weeks. This is, we take note, we pass it to the administration of Montreal-West. We're going to talk to the director of Royal West Academy and find out what's happening and why is it there and what they can do. So it has been noted. Thank you so much, Lori. Next question is from Margot Pinot, 154 Wolseley North, and it's a question for Elizabeth Hewlin.
Thank you very much. So thank you for your question, Margot. I'll read it now. Let me begin by saying how much I am loving the Montreal-West swimming pool. I so appreciate the efforts of all the staff to keep it going throughout the pandemic. I find it a lovely pool, and I'm asking myself why we need a new one, unless it would be an indoor pool. My biggest fear is the construction of this new community center, arena, and pool is that our pool will be out of commission during construction. Can council explain why we need a new pool and guarantee that the old one will not be closed during the summer? Well, thank you very much. I'll start off by saying thank you very much for your lovely words about the pool and that you are appreciating it so much. The staff works really hard to make sure that Montreal-West residents are able to enjoy it and have for the last 2 years, even through the pandemic. I wish I had better news to tell you with respect to the construction of a new pool. We do, in fact, need a new pool. It's really at the end of its life. It may not seem so because we take awfully good care of it and making sure that it's ready each year. But in fact, every year it has damage, and the damage gets worse and worse every year. And it's over 50 years old, I believe, which is really at the end of its life. A lot of what we don't see about the pool is in a lot of difficulty, not necessarily what you see as a swimmer. So yes, we need a new pool. And if I'm being honest, the likelihood that we're going to have that pool through the construction period is about 0, because when they start doing the construction on either the recreation building, what is now the arena, or the pool itself, we will have to cordon off the whole area and the pool will not be usable. Abby asked a similar kind of question earlier that I answered with respect to making an arrangement with perhaps some other municipality that we could use their facilities at some kind of a special rate. And we'll certainly try to make those accommodations. But unfortunately, the arena that we currently have, the pool that we currently have, will be out of commission for the time that the new facilities are being constructed. Anyway, thanks very much for your question, Margot, and thanks again for your lovely words about the facilities as they currently are.
Thank you, Councillor Yulin, and thank you, Marco, for your question. Next is Emily McCutcheon, also of 128 Strathern Avenue, and it's also a question for Councillor Yulin.
Yes, thank you. I will answer this. I'll read it first. Are there any plans to redo the tennis courts at the same time as the arena? If so, there appears to be a disconnect with an asset that belongs to Montreal-West being used at a discount for all citizens of Montreal. Would the town have an interest in taking back management to ensure that Montreal-West residents are prioritized in terms of both signing up and financially? Well, thanks very much for your question, Emlyn. No, the town has no plans to redo the tennis court at the same time as the arena and the pool. You say there appears to be a disconnect with an asset that belongs to Montreal-West. Well, the tennis club is a not-for-profit independent organization that essentially runs the courts. We have an association with them where we use the courts for our camp, but they make decisions regarding membership and rates and such. In fact, I would say with the exception of the Montreal West Adult Library, the public library, we have many associations with organizations like the Children's Library, the CRA, CRA, the Scouts, I mean, really many other organizations in town. And with the exception of the library, the adult library, we don't have any contract with them to prioritize Montreal-West citizens. Frankly, most of them do, as far as I know. Colleen might have some input with respect to the tennis club, but the decisions that are made with regard to membership and fees rest with the board of the tennis club. So I would ask you to bring it up with them because they're the ones who are going to make those decisions. Again, Colleen, I know you have more experience with the tennis club per se, and perhaps you have something you want to add to this.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you. No, I would just support what you have said, Elizabeth. Completely true. I'm not a member of the tennis club, but I think the only thing I might add to this is that I had heard, and maybe this was your concern, Emmeline, that this year they had to cut membership. And so not everybody who wanted to join, and that included some people in Montreal-West and some people not in Montreal-West, were able to join. But that really was based on regulations for the pandemic and the membership. That was a decision taken by the tennis club. So if that's what you are referring to, I think normally I've never heard there'd be any problems with Montreal-Westers or others wanting to join. They would always be looking for members. So maybe it's just a very specific thing this year. So but that's just curiously, that's just kind of what I've heard. But to support Elizabeth in saying that they are independent and they make their own rules and regulations and always have. So thank you for your question, Emmeline.
Thank you, Councillor Finney and Yulin, and thank you, Emmeline, for your question. Now let's move on to Sherry McGurnahan from 322 Westminster Avenue North, and this is a question. The first question is for Colleen Finney, Councillor Finney.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yes, Sherry McGurnahan. Follow-up question on previously submitted one. The fence behind my duplex is too far out and is really causing issues getting into my parking spot. Is there any way to rectify this? So that's the first question. I know you had a question in the winter regarding snow being piled up against that fence, and I had invited you to contact me and meet and take a look at what it was so that I could better understand the issue. you didn't get back to me, but I did actually go for a little walk along the laneway. I couldn't, quite frankly, see a big issue. I know there is a fence all the way along, and there's one portion of the fence that is slightly more into the lane than the other. I don't know if that's what you're referring to. I invite you again to contact me. I'll go there and take a look so I can really better understand what the issue is here, and if it's something relating to somebody going over a property line or not, then I can look into it. But I give me a call, please, or send me an email. My email address is on the town website, cfini@montreal-west.ca, and I'd be very happy to go and take a look again at this. So thank you very much for your question, Sherry.
Thank you, Councillor Feeney. And thank you, Sherry. The second question is for me. The question is, I received a mailing from Katsanlu saying they have a water sampling program for single family homes and duplexes built before 1976. I'm just wondering if we have the same initiative. I have been advised not to drink the water in my duplex, so it would be great to know if that is really the case. This is the second time you ask, and we did a little bit of work in it. And just to let you know, we do not have that program yet. However, it is a priority for our town administration to implement such program. So we are, at the moment, we're looking into it. As soon as it's implemented or we have more information on what to do, we'll let you know. So thank you so much for your question, and it is in the works. My next question is from Julie Tasker Brown, 137 Brock North, and also Aubrey Marchand from 164 Avenue, Brock North. Both of them ask similar questions, so I'll answer them together. Hello, Benny and Council. Several years ago, parts of Brock North were redone, leaving the middle segment of the street left to complete. Year after year, the decaying sidewalks and road surface get progressively worse, making the sidewalks and roads dangerous to walk and bike on, creating serious noise pollution as cars navigate the bumpy, pothole-marked streets. Year after year, Public Works fills the numerous cracks and holes with more and more asphalt, which is unsightly, dangerous, and I imagine costly. When is the town planning to redo our street? Please say soon, thank you. And Aubrey Road, now that the 100 block of Brock North has experienced 2 sinkholes, will council begin repairing the pipes to be replaced? How much damage needs to happen before the street can be done? Thank you for your questions. As you know, we don't feel right that these streets are in such horrible shape. We have 3-4 streets like that across Montreal-West, where the surface is terrible, yet the infrastructure underneath is not bad enough to grant us a grant from the government. And as you know, we do need that money to be able to repair these streets. We will keep on trying. We will keep on looking into it. I'm sorry I don't have a better answer than that. For the next 3-year plan, we will submit it again to see. That's all I can tell you right now. That's it. As you know, both of you, we have spoken plenty about this, and it is a matter of grants. We will keep into it and keep on asking. So but be sure that we haven't forgotten about it. We feel terrible about the condition of a couple of our streets. Thank you so much, Aubrey and Julie. The next question is from Susan Superstein from 242 Valentine. And these questions are for Colleen Feeney.
Okay, thank you very much, Susan. So I'll start with question number 1. What is the bylaw concerning people sleeping in basements without direct access to an exit? Many years ago, 2 children died in a fire for this reason. Seems many new buyers are refinishing basements to include bedrooms. So thank you. Yes, there was a tragic accident at some point in time in Montreal-West. Montreal-West does permit having a bedroom in the basement. but it must comply with the Quebec Building Code. And this is the code which, as you say, it ensures that you have to have a proper egress or exit from that basement, be it staircase and or windows, and specifies the size, etc. of these. So basically, it's a regulation of the Quebec Building Code, not one necessarily of Montreal-West. And I should say that when a permit is issued in Montreal-West for any kind of work like that, it is the responsibility of the homeowner through their architect or through their contractor to ensure that it does comply with the building code. So we hope people are doing this. If they, and if they call our urban planning department, I think that they can at least, tell them this could be an issue. You have to look into this before you proceed with this permit. So we do want people to be safe and to follow all the building codes in place. So that was it for your first question. I hope that responds to it. Your second question is, what can be done to ensure people have the enjoyment of gardens? Neighbors' trees are huge, too big for a lot, according to Home Tree Services, who you contact to do maintenance. Okay, another good question. As a town, we do not have a requirement or regulation regarding the size or characteristics of trees on private property. If we encourage neighbors to discuss among themselves to find solutions, if it's possible, we cannot intervene on private land, just on private land, just on the basis of an arborist's opinion there, as you say, from Home Tree. However, if there's a security issue, the citizen can ask that his neighbor take action to trim or cut the tree or whatever. And again, as I had mentioned earlier to another question, if it turns out that the tree does have to be cut, one has to get a permit. There's no cost to it, but they do have to get a permit. And to get that permit, they do have to show a certified arborist report that the tree is in dire straits before we will permit it to be cut. So that's hopefully that answers your second question, Susan. Thank you very much for both your questions.
Thank you, Councillor Feeney, and thank you, Susan, for your question. The next one is from Tara Raymond from 111 Avenue Easton. I have a basketball net. We were recently informed that the net, it is in violation of law 405. It is not on the street or blocking the street. There is no way of putting it further up my driveway. Many children were not signed up for camp programs because of COVID. The construction project will start on Fenwick, and Triangle Park will be used as a construction dump. We are requesting an exemption to keep the basketball net while construction is happening. There is nowhere for the children to play outside. Both Liz, Elizabeth Yulin, and Dino Massoni has been informed via email. Thank you, Tara, for your question. I realize that this is very important. This issue is very important. I know that Anne and Christian have brought it forward as well. But unfortunately, I cannot answer on behalf of Councillor Massoni. So I am forwarding your request to him and let him answer to you directly. Thank you for your question and bringing this issue to our attention. Next question is from Louise Chenever, 78 Roxton Crescent. And this question is for Councillor Yulin. Councillor Yulin, you're muted.
On mute.
Now
Sorry.
you're doing what I do.
Apologies. Dear Council, I'm following up on my question submitted for the April 26th meeting. I was then informed that my request for access to information regarding an inventory of the town's ash trees was delivered to the administration. I have not received the information nor even an acknowledgement of receipt. There is usually a 20-day protocol with COVID. It may be longer, but it is now 2 months. How many were, this is for the ash trees, how many were treated and felled in 2020 and 2021? A map of the remaining trees would be appreciated. Council can answer if the ash treatments will be continued this August. So thank you for your question, Louise. You're right about it being a bit late because of COVID. I know that our town clerk has your request and is working on it. So that is in the pipeline. And I apologize that it's a bit later than normal, but these are not normal circumstances. So we do have your request. Second question, I spoke to Anthony, one of your PSOs today, regarding our pesticide law. This probably isn't a question for me, but I'll keep reading it. His hands are tied as he has no power to enforce it. The bylaw needs to be revised. What are you planning to do? I don't know, Maria, this is either an environmental question or public security question. So
that's right. So what I'll do is, because this is not very clear what the issue was, I will contact you or send me an email, contact me, Louise, and let me know what the issue is. As it is, we ran out of time with the question period about 5 minutes ago, so I'm trying to rush it here, but nonetheless, we don't have the answer. So please contact me and I'd like to talk to you about this and to see what can we do about it. That's all for the question period today. Thank you everybody for your questions. If you have any further questions concerning the answers we gave, please contact one of the counselors, or if you want to submit a question for the second question period. So now we move to contracts and town clerk's office. Do I have anybody to propose the next resolution? Thank you.
certainly, okay, so postal ballot for electors age 70 or more in the upcoming municipal election. That's the name of the resolution, number 9. I will read it. Whereas the municipal election of November 7th, 2021 is expected to take place while the state of emergency due to the COVID-19 pandemic is still in effect. Whereas the chief electoral officer has enacted in accordance with section 3 of an act to facilitate the conduct of the November 7th, 2021 municipal general election in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic. SQ 2021, Chapter 8, the regulation amending certain municipal provisions to facilitate the conduct of the municipal general election of the November 7th, 2021 in the context of COVID-19 pandemic, 2021 GOQ Part 2, Volume 153, number 17B, page 130, excuse me, this is a long resolution. Page 137B, hereafter called the CEO regulation, which came into effect on May 15th, 2021, and modifies a number of provisions in the act respecting the electors and referendums in municipalities, hereafter called the AREM, and in the regulation respecting voting by mail, CQLR, Chapter E22R3. Whereas a municipality is entitled to adopt a resolution providing that a person who is entered on the list of electors and who is 70 years of age or older on polling day may, on request, exercise the right to vote by mail in accordance with the applicable rules as per section 659.4 of the AREM, amended by section 40 of the CEO regulation. Whereas a municipality may avail itself of the provisions of this regulation, provided that a resolution is adopted to this effect no later than July 1st. Therefore, I move that any elector who is entered on the electoral list, who is 70 years of age or older on polling day, be authorized to exercise upon request the right to vote by mail within the scope of the municipal election taking place November 7th, 2021, and in any proceedings recommended after said election in accordance with section 276 of the AREM, as the case may be. Secondly, that a certified copy of this resolution be forwarded to the Chief Electoral Officer and to the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing. That's it.
Do I have anyone to second it?
I could add
Well,
more if you like, but I think that's enough.
Congratulations on getting through the legalese. I will second that motion.
Thank you, Councillor Yielding and Councillor Finney. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Indeed.
Thank you. Tariff of remuneration, election staff. Whereas Section 88 of the Act respecting elections and referendums in municipalities, CQLR, Chapter E2.2, authorizes the council to establish a tariff of remuneration for compensation for election officers. Therefore, I move to repeal resolution number 2016-1219-002 in brackets 2 and number 2017-0918-006 and to approve the tariff of remuneration for election officers included in appendix as an integral part of this resolution. Can I have someone to second this resolution?
I will second that.
Thank you, Councillor Finney. Anybody in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Règlement de gestion contractuelle, rapport annuel. Conformément à l'article 107.3.1.2, paragraphe 7 de la loi sur les sites et les villes, un rapport du greffier fut déposé résumant les points principaux concernant l'application du règlement sur la gestion contractuelle de la ville pour l'année 2020. Now, moving on to administration and finances, can I have someone to move the approval of disbursements?
Yes, Madam Pro Mayor. I move that the list of accounts payable from May 29th to June the 5th, 2021, totaling $3,356,549.71 be approved and paid as listed.
Can I have someone to second it?
I second that.
Thank you, Councillor Finney and Councillor Yilling. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Délégation de pouvoir pour le mois juin 2021. Est-ce que j'ai quelqu'un qui m'aurait proposé cette résolution?
Oui. Je propose que soit approuvé le rapport du directeur général concernant l'exercice des pouvoirs délégués en vertu du règlement numéro 2005-002 pour le mois de juin 2021. Oui, c'est ça.
Je le second. Et tout en faveur?
Oui.
Merci. Now we move to urban department. Councillor Finney will move this resolution. Site and planning projects and architectural integration programs.
Thank you. First, I move to acknowledge receipt of the minutes of a meeting held by the Planning Advisory Committee, PAC, on June the 23rd, 2021. Second, to approve as presented under the SPAIP the following plans submitted to this meeting in accordance with the recommendations of the PAC as outlined in the minutes. 84 Wolseley North, replacement of gutters and soffits. 79 Ballantyne North, construction of retaining walls in the front yard. 208 Strathern North, restoring a former side door and replacement of a basement window. 153 Percival, replacement of 6 windows. 67 Strathern North, painting of the front door. 74 to 76 Radcliffe, replacement of a basement window by a patio door. Third, to approve with conditions under the SPAIP the following plans submitted to this meeting in accordance with the recommendations of the PAC as outlined in the minutes. 64 Strathern North, replacement of the front stairs. 68 Strathern North, replacement of soffits, 8 windows, painting of the downspouts and shutters. 23 Easton, replacement of the garage doors on the detached garage, the back door, 17 windows, and the shutters of the main building. And fourth, to defer the examination of the following plans to a next meeting of the council in accordance with the recommendations of the PAC as outlined in the minutes. 23 Easton, replacement of the main door and frame on the main building.
Thank you, Councillor Feeney. Do I have someone to second it? Has someone
Second that, certainly. I
Everybody in
second.
favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So we have, next is a minor exemption request for 34 Campbell, and Councillor Feeney will summarize the issues involved.
Okay,
Councillor
thank you very
Feeney?
much. Thank you very much. Yes, so this is a minor exemption for a real estate transaction. It's not work that the resident wants to currently do. And in this particular case, there are 2 minor exemptions being requested, and they both are quite minor. One of them is for the lateral setback of the house. And the second one is for a relatively new bylaw that was brought in after an extension was built on this house, requiring that the setback from in a semi-detached house, that the setback from the Metoyen wall be equal to 2/3 of the depth of the extension. So in this case, both of these bylaws came into effect after the building of the house and the extension. So we are asking for approval of these. So I will go ahead. Je propose d'accepter les plans soumis à la réunion du comité consultatif d'urbanisme tenue le 26 mai 2021, conformément aux dispositions des règlements 20-002 et G18-0005 et les demandes suivantes de dérogation mineure à la grille de spécification applicable et au 2e alinéa de l'article 3.2.2 du règlement de zonage en ce qui a trait à l'immeuble situé à 34 Campbell dans la zone RB7 afin de, premièrement, régulariser une marge de recul latérale de 1,51 mètres du côté sud au lieu de minimum requis de 2 mètres dans cette zone, ceci ayant donc pour l'effet de réduire la norme de 0,49 mètres. Deuxièmement, régulariser l'agrandissement d'un bâtiment jumelé avec une marge de recul latérale de 2,89 mètres au lieu d'une marge minimale de 2,99 mètres calculée à partir de la ligne latérale du lot du jumelé voisin équivalente à au moins 2/3 de la profondeur de cet agrandissement vers la ligne arrière du lot. Celui-ci étant profond de 4,48 mètres. Et ceci ayant donc pour effet de réduire l'application de cette norme de 0,10 mètres.
Merci, Councillor Feeney. Qui seconde? Ou qui peut faire seconder? Tout en faveur?
Oui.
Merci. The environment. This is the resolution that I spoke before on my report. So I will read it. This is the mayor's pledge, monarch butterfly. Whereas the monarch butterflies are an iconic North American species, whereas their exceptional migration and their fascinating life cycle appeals to the imagination of millions of citizens, whereas the monarch population has declined by 90% in North America over the past 20 years, whereas scientists attribute this decline to the degradation and loss of reproduction habitats. Whereas in September 2015, the U.S. National Wildlife Federation launched the Mayor's Monarch Pledge in efforts to engage cities, towns, counties, and communities of all kinds to join the effort to help save monarch butterflies. Whereas since then, more than 600 local and regional governments in Mexico, the United States, and Canada have committed themselves to this North American initiative, whereas the David Suzuki Foundation and Montreal Space for Life are collaborating to convince municipalities to join this initiative. Therefore, I move first that the town of Montreal-West officially commits itself to helping to restore monarch habitats by implementing measures to protect the species and by encouraging all citizens to participate in these efforts, so that these magnificent butterflies can once again flourish all over the continent. Secondly, that Mr. Benny Masala be authorized to sign the Mayor's Monarch Pledge to make Montreal-West a monarch-friendly town. And thirdly, that the town undertake to implement the following actions items within a year of taking the pledge. First, issue a proclamation to raise awareness about the decline of the monarch butterflies and the species' need for habitat. Secondly, launch a public communication effort to encourage citizens and plant monarch gardens at their homes or in their neighborhoods. And thirdly, plant a monarch-friendly demonstration garden at town hall or another prominent location. Last, that a certified copy of this resolution be forwarded to the David Suzuki Foundation. Do I have someone to second this motion?
I second that.
Thank you, Councillor Yulin. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Item 13, human resources. There is nothing under this item. Appointments. Number 14 is appointments. Can I have someone to move this motion?
Yes, certainly. A designation of the pro-mayor. I move that Colleen Feeney be appointed pro-mayor for the months of August, September, October, and November 2021. That Councillor Colleen Feeney be designated to replace Mayor Benny Masala on the Agglomeration Council as necessary, and that a copy of this resolution be forwarded, if needed, to the Agglomeration Council. Thirdly, that this appointment take effect August 1st, 2021.
I second that motion. Everybody, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Number 15, deposit of documents. There is nothing under this item. Now we move on 16, avis de motion, lecture et adoption du règlement. C'est pour moi, pour le lire. Avis de motion et dépôt d'un projet de règlement pour un règlement relatif à la circulation des camions et véhicules utiles et remplaçant le règlement numéro 2018-008. This kind of bylaw concerning the traffic of heavy vehicles must be approved by the MTQ. Transport Quebec informed Montreal-West that the one it had already adopted must be corrected on a few technical aspects. Hence, this new version, which remains in essence to the same effect. So the change is la mairesse suppléant Maria Torres donne un avis de motion de présentation à une prochaine séance du conseil d'un règlement intitulé Règlement relatif à la circulation des camions et véhicules utiles et remplaçant le règlement numéro 2018-008. Un projet de règlement fut déposé au conseil et mis à la disposition du public. Now we move to point 17, which is second public question period. We have no questions. We have not received any questions. So we'll move to the last point, levée de la séance. Do I have anybody to move this motion?
Oui, Madame Promer, je propose de laisser lever la séance, excusez-moi.
Et je le second. Je l'appuie. Merci beaucoup à tous. Thank you so much for listening to us. And if you have any questions, I'm sorry?
Vote. We have to vote to end it.
All in favor?
I will vote to end it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Good night. And thank you so much for joining us.
Bonsoir. Bye.
Go Cats, go.
Okay, I ended.